Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jovon from Chill Tech.
Christian Moore here. What's up? How's it going?
We're gonna go ahead and drop you guys some of that new news. Today's new news is about WWDC from Apple. This is their 2016 Worldwide Developer Conference. Let's go ahead and give you guys the best consumer way to digest all this information. So we're gonna cut out a lot of the crap. I'm gonna kind of give you guys just what you guys need to know about Apple's event today. So starting off with WatchOS. WatchOS, it's gotten a lot faster. They decided to add a whole bunch of apps directly onto the watch, so you're no longer mirroring the app from your phone to the watch. So it makes it 3 times faster. It provides real-time information. They've added a bunch of new features for handicap workouts. They've added a quick reply feature. You can now swap your watch faces by going left to right. They added a quick reply button. You can now write what you want to type, and you can even add characters to show support for multilingual support there. That's pretty cool. We have a hot 911 button. That's pretty hot. Allows us to just press and hold the function key on the side of it, and after a while, it signals a 911 response and gives you a live call. Not really sure how practical WatchOS is, as a platform yet.
Right.
But it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't gotten a smartwatch yet, because I'm still wondering when it'll be worth the money for me to add functionality to my life. It was cool to see them have the little scribble thing where you could write, and basically they're writing letters over top of each other, but above it is spelling out the word. So it looked kind of cool. All right, well, next they had tvOS. So last year, they brought out the idea of having actual native apps with the OS for the TV. Before that, it was basically Apple said, these apps can be installed, and it was kind of a very, very closed system. So now they have, starting last year, with the native apps. On top of that now, they've added what they call the simplified network TV login. So basically, instead of every time you go into either Netflix or HBO Go or add a new Xfinity app or whatever app it is, prior to that, you had to go in and authenticate either on the screen and type in username and password. Sometimes, if they were nice, they would just they would tell you to go to the website on your computer, log in, and enter in a code there. There's always some clunky process of needing a PC or going onto your phone or some other way to get to authenticate to get in to see your actual content. So now they're going to have basically a single sign in. So you can go to one place, sign in there, and then when you go to each app, it'll authenticate automatically. So I think that's going to be pretty cool, for sure.
Totally.
I'm so excited about that, because I get tired of every time, or if you say you get a new device, especially a new device, and every account all over again. My wife hates it. She'll just make me do it, essentially. So I'll be happy about that for sure. Next is the iOS remote. So last year, again, with the new refresh, the new Apple TV box, they added a pretty cool new what they call the Siri remote. So that, again, you can do the Siri voice search, but also has kind of a small trackpad on there, and also can be used for gaming and kind of gesturing around for different features. What they didn't update last year was the very old Apple remote app on the phone. So they've updated that now. So it looks a little bit fresher. And now it has all the same functionality as the physical remote. So you can do all the same gesturing on the screen, using it as a trackpad, touchpad. You can use it, the accelerometer for the gaming and all those things. And also you can still use a Siri with it as well for your voice search and all those cool things. So that should be pretty cool. Again, it's not groundbreaking, but it's things they added to kind of push the platform forward. Things that I think probably should have been added last year. But as Apple does, they like to kind of give you the basic bare bones and make sure it works and kind of see what people are looking for. And they kind of add things, step by step as time goes on. The last thing that they added, which was, again, not a huge thing, was kind of the dark mode, which I think is good. Again, if you're at night, you don't necessarily want all this brightness coming at you. I know you, Jovon, like to have all your things on the lowest brightness settings.
Lowest quality settings, man.
I don't do that. And one thing I do as far as iOS is concerned is I do use the I guess it's the night shift thing they have now, so that after 10 p.m. My devices all switch to kind of a less blue light, more like the soft red light. But kind of easier in my eyes, so I can go to sleep, supposedly. So
Supposedly, right?
It seems to be working.
Yeah, man. Simplified TV network logins is probably my most favorite feature of this entire event, just because of how convoluted the system is. There's so many different ways to sign in to a TV network station. Not to mention, if you have a cable subscription and you're signing into every single device with your cable login, and sometimes those cable logins require two-step authentication. It's just a really long process to just watch TV. This is making watching TV much more simpler. There's actually a feature I hope to see Google add to Android TV and maybe even Roku also. This should be something that everyone should be getting behind. It's a really cool feature.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I am curious to see how it works in practice. It sounds good.
Right.
I didn't really dive into how it works. Just that, hey, we have single sign-in. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great.
Right. We'll
see how
that could be something maybe a developer has to enable on their end in order to make sure. So that, yeah, I get what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be some master account somewhere, some keychain thing. Who knows how they're going to do it, but I hope it works for sure.
OS X is now called Mac OS.
Finally.
So they decided to, come on stage and was like, hey, the whole OS family is missing something, and so they showed OS X, and since it didn't make sense to go with Mac 11, you know what I'm saying, or OS X 11, there's been a lot of sense to go OS X 10, and they now dubbed it Sierra. So, it's pretty cool update for the Mac. Just like last year's Yosemite, I won't say that this is a groundbreaking evolutionary line to how we use laptops or desktops from the Mac ecosystem, but there were some crucial features that I feel like needed to be added to Mac OS. And starting with that is the way that they revamped the iCloud Drive. So just like Dropbox, Google Drive, and the OneDrive from Microsoft, Apple now integrated their cloud system to actually work just like that as a single universal file folder on the application on your MacBook. Access your files from there on your iPhone, whether it's a Windows device, and they're saying that it'll be supporting other platforms soon. So this is pretty interesting to see that they're moving forward with their own cloud storage and they're taking it seriously. I guess the biggest update they announced was the Siri that they arrived on the Mac, and I think this is good because Cortana seems to work really well on Windows 10. Google Now works excellent for Chrome OS. This is really interesting to see. I want to see how this progresses and actually you get my hands on this. But for what Siri is bringing to the Mac in terms of being able to use that as your spotlight search, you're able to take information directly from her search queries and put it into applications. So you can search for a photo, find that photo, just drag it automatically right into something that you're working on. This is totally cool. I'm definitely impressed with the Siri on Mac. I want to use it first before I say anything. That it's revolutionizing the way that we use computers, but it's really cool. Now, the Universal Clipboard Universal Clipboard feature was added. I guess it's kind of like a cross-platform thing, but this is very important because from what it seems to me that it only will work on OS X Sierra. Now, this allows you to clip something from an iPad or an iPhone and automatically paste it into your document or your URL search bar on your Mac side. It's a pretty cool feature. Being able to copy paste, over the cloud is cool. That's really cool to me. I like that feature. Like I said, how often will I think kind of the common occurrence here is a lot of these things we're seeing in this event is how often are we going to use it? But the fact that it's there is awesome. Options are cool. And two more things they added was the Apple Pay now works inside of Safari. Not sure this is a thing that developers have to add into certain websites, but for what I do know already is that it will work with Safari with most of the things that you can already use Apple Pay for. So you can buy something with Apple Pay one click, and it will show up on your smartwatch, on your Apple Watch, or on your iPhone, and then you'll be able to complete the purchase right there. It's a big thing for OS X, and this is something I know personally for me. Even when we buy these awesome computers nowadays, because we're going in the solid-state hard drive territory, storage is always something that we just don't have enough of. And optimized storage is a kind of like a Windows cleanup, feature, but it seems to be a little bit more organizing on. It looks to be a little bit smarter. So I'll say that than most other computers. We'll say first-party kind of cache cleaning systems. So optimized storage looks for cache first, cleans up the trash can, It looks for things that have been downloaded for offline use that you haven't used in a while, like music and songs. It looks for certain web search queries and looks for rich text documents, things that just happen to be written and happens on, or things that you have duplicates of in the cloud and on your local storage. So that's optimized storage. It's a way to clean up your Mac. They showed an example where a guy had 256 gigabytes of storage. He's able to clean up and free up, about 150 gigs. That's pretty impressive to me. How it works in real life with the way that we use computers, I don't know, but it seems promising.
Cool. I know for me, the two things that kind of jump out at me was one, that actually the universal keyboard. Because a lot of the time I'll be on my phone and I literally just want to copy something from here and have it on the computer. And so I have to either make a note, then it syncs, or I email it to myself, or there's all the ways that you get around that. So if I could literally just copy it and then paste it here, that'd be amazing to me. Now again, it's one of those things where it's within the ecosystem.
Right.
So as long as you have the Mac with the latest operating system and the iOS device, you're good. But doing that with Windows and trying to sync it all, that's not going to work. Obviously, they're trying to keep you in the ecosystem. So I don't appreciate that, since I'm branching out more and in more ecosystem at the same time. But it is a really cool feature that I would like to really use for sure. A second thing with the optimized storage, I thought was kind of cool. They were talking about how they were going to look at again the old files, and some of them can be moved automatically to cloud storage to clear up space on your local drive. And I thought that was pretty cool. There's always security concerns where you're going putting stuff in the cloud. How does it know what's old, and then what are those old things? Should those be secured better? Should you try to figure out, maybe I don't want certain things in the cloud just because they're old. So I'm sure there's a way to kind of tweak that and put different settings in place, but that should be pretty cool. So we'll see.
Yeah, sure. I agree. I mean, I know for the cloud thing, for some people, it says, what do you want to give to your big brother company? But I wonder if it's going to force everything into iCloud Drive, kind of the way that Chrome OS does that for Google Drive. Maybe it forces everything into the cloud. And they didn't really specify anything on storage amounts. I don't know if you noticed that during the
really didn't.
So are we talking about a limited space on your iCloud Drive, or is it a set amount of space? So that's something maybe we at Chotech will look into, but it's interesting to see.
All right, so that's all for looks like Mac OS Sierra. Now we have iOS. So iOS, again, this is, I would not say a revolutionary update. They said it was, but they always say that. Right. That's what they're paid to say. They always say this is the most revolutionary ever, best OS in the history of the world, kind of a thing. But there were some pretty cool things that they added. They kind of had their 10 main pillars they were looking at. But I'll kind of go over some of the things that kind of jumped out, I guess. First was they were looking at the lock screen. So again, with the lock screen and the widgets, they just made it slightly more interactive, a little bit better. I know for like the control center where you swipe up, they allowed you the ability to swipe left and right to see more information there. So kind of like a dedicated music section. Some things, again, with that, it's iterative, it's small things, but they're things that do improve the overall experience and the usability of the software, so it's appreciated. The one thing I would like them to have done is what I'm appreciating with on the Android side, is that if I look at my Wi-Fi, I can immediately see what network I'm on. I would like to have that in the control center for iOS. Someday, please. Of going into settings and seeing which network I'm on, that's foolishness. So anyway, now I'm gonna mention three things really quickly, but they kind of all tie together. Is one thing overarching that we saw was that they're really trying to bring developers into the platform more, which is kind of what they did with the App Store initially. They first kind of did the app thing. They had App Store, and they kind of keep stepping into it. Same thing with tvOS. So now for Maps and Siri and Messages, they're bringing in more integration with developers and third-party apps being able to be involved in that process. So in Messages, now there's going to be kind of an app drawer available. For Maps, you're going to be able to do things like do reservations directly from the map screen, the open table, those kind of things. And so we'll see more things coming in the future as developers kind of dig deeper into that. And again, with Siri, is going to be able to have more developer interaction, so that you can ask Siri to send a WhatsApp message, for example, and Siri can actually do that because it's again tied into that developer access, which is going to be a much needed thing. In addition, back to kind of that integration is that we saw with the phone app even. Let's say you use WhatsApp a lot for phone calls. Now the WhatsApp interface, when you get a call, it'll look more like the actual regular phone interface.
Right.
Where you'll be able to see like the person's, their picture, whatever you have, and then even your favorites and your recent history will kind of be merged with all these apps together. So WhatsApp will be in there with your phone calls, and the favorites will all kind of be in one area. So that's going to be very cool going forward, as they're allowing, as they know they can't be all things to all people.
Right.
And so they kind of harp on their apps, knowing that also the other apps are out there and we know you use them. So let's kind of bring everything together and try to get kind of a seamless interface, which I think is very good. Very briefly, Apple Music, they did some more stuff with that. Again, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's going on, but they did another redesign and overhaul and mentioned their Beats One, the biggest radio station in the land, kind of a thing. I mean, I guess
it was news to me. I was like, I guess I don't know.
Is it?
I'm sure Spotify users have a thing to say too about that.
Right. I'm like, I guess maybe it's unique in that it's a 24-hour worldwide radio station. I'm not sure about that, but I guess there's some creative music on there and things. And Elton John has a show or something on there. So, okay, sure, fine. So that's that. Some other points that they had here is, again, photos. Is the Photos app is a lot like what we heard with the Google I/O event, getting more into your business, which is, I guess, good and bad. So they've kind of taken their facial recognition, what they used for some time now, to recognize faces and kind of group pictures together, and to just like a whole landscape, all things recognition. So they'll know, hey, you were at the mountains in these pictures. We'll group those together. Hey, here's your mountain pictures. Or here's all the pictures from when you were at the beach X weekend. Or here's the pictures all with you, grandma, and this person in a group. So here's family pictures. And so they're really trying to help you kind of curate your pictures for you. Because I know, like me, I'll take a ton of pictures and then they're somewhere all together. I don't look at them anymore. I don't organize them. And so they're trying to help you by organizing your pictures for you. Having moments is what they call them. On top of that, they'll kind of make these kind of little videos for you. What I thought was cool is that with these videos, you can have like a short, medium, and long length, and they'll automatically kind of splice in video, especially with like the slow motion videos, time lapse, the live photos, and all the photos, and kind of put them together in one kind of a PowerPoint video presentation, and then set it to music. And based upon the mood you set for it, it can give it a different feel. So they had it with one where it was kind of like a kind of a fun feel to it, where the family was doing a snowball fight, and they switched it to epic for a short video. They had this real epic music and dun 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 and all the stuff. So I mean, it's pretty cool. Will it get used a lot? I don't know, but it's helpful. I think as a way to display your pictures to your family.
I think when it comes to photos, it's so much was done with iOS, but the photos thing. Well, first, let me get the disclaimer out the way. We all know that companies copy from each other. That's part of the business. We'll move on from that. Elephant out the room. But when it came to photos, this was probably the most disappointing thing to me when I heard some of those features, because that was literally everything about Google Photos, down to the music, the selections, to the short clips they make, to the stories. And some of the features are even missing, what makes it even worse. It's like you took an app, you reskinned it, and I felt just a little robbed from Apple when it came to the photo side, because they've always been such a leader when it comes to a lot of for a while now. Before Samsung took over the camera market, they've always been a leader in the mobile photography, and I was expecting more of a powerful editing tool, something of the sort. This was definitely a good direction because it needed to be done, but this feature was already on iOS if you're an iOS user using Google Maps. Now, this is nice if you don't trust Google and you're an iOS user and you want to put everything with Apple, but in terms of an innovating feature, it was really disappointing.
Yeah. A lot of this is, I think we're just getting down to where, you know, what else can we do to make photos interesting? You know, I mean, end of the day, okay, we take the photos and we can make PowerPoint presentations with them and make videos, and yeah. I suspect that they held off some things, announcing some things until the fall when they announced the new hardware and the new phone. Because a lot of times they'll have something with the hardware that will kind of work in conjunction with the software, and they'll sometimes kind of hide some of those things until then. So let's see, did I miss anything important? Again, with messages, some emojis. What was kind of cool, but I don't think I want to use this, is that they had the ability for you to, when you type your text, and then if you click the emoji button, it'll go through and look for words that can be emojified. Is that the word?
Yeah. That's what you said, right? You can emojify your
so,
words.
Like if you type pizza, it'll automatically sense the word pizza. You can type it, you can press it, and it'll make it the pizza emoji. And I mean, once I've already typed the word pizza, is it helpful to go back and then type and change it to a pizza emoji?
It's
I mean, maybe. It's mostly for kids, I think, that think it might be cool. Or if you want to play a game with your friends and it's easier to do it that way than, guess what I'm sending you, I guess. They have kind of this privacy thing where you can kind of have kind of a twinkly filter over the words when you send it. And then when the person gets it, they won't automatically see what it says. They have to kind of swipe over it to see what the message is. So
I like that.
Maybe. I mean, it's kind of cool if you want to send them something, but they don't automatically see what it is. So kind of a delayed surprise, a little bit. So could be kind of cool. Again, there were some little things like that. Again, like the Google event. Some quirky things with messaging to make it more fun, more interactive. Again, we'll see how much it gets used. Again. But those were kind of the main things that we saw from the iOS event. Again, nothing too groundbreaking.
The biggest thing was this integration with developers and Siri. It's everything. Siri's in everything. Developers are in everything. They're in maps. They're in music. They're in photos. They're in your messages now. And I'm wondering how much of that was done because of Google I/O. Not to say that they ripped, because I'm sure these things were done months and years in advance. But how much do you feel like Apple had to respond strongly because of features like Allo and Duo and these type of things that we're expecting to see from Google later on this year?
I think they did kind of have to, especially since Google is making their apps cross-platform, which Apple doesn't really do. You might expect Apple to say, okay, now we're going to have our apps available on Android, but they don't really work that way. I think maybe Apple Music does, kind of, but their apps, when they tend to have them cross-platform, perform, I think, poorly unless they're on the Apple ecosystem. I mean, look back at Safari, for an example.
Yeah,
that browser just didn't work on Windows, and so they canceled it. Now, this reminds me of one thing that I did overlook, was that they did a few tweaks to the HomeKit ecosystem.
Yes.
Which, again, they didn't announce any new hardware, but they do have kind of the Home app now is going to be on the home screen. That'll kind of pull all your HomeKit enabled devices and software together in kind of one place, which is cool. And also, they're gonna kind of make the Apple TV be able to function as kind of your home base for your HomeKit ecosystem, which I figured they were gonna do a couple years ago, and I guess they were trying to get some things ironed out. But now that's gonna be the case now, because they figure your Apple TV is gonna be always on, always connected to the internet, so that's gonna kind of be your hub. Yeah, it should be. Yeah. So that'll kind of be the hub, as opposed to having another device, kind of like what Google did. They're going to say, look, you already have the Apple TV in your home. It's already here. Let's kind of grab that and kind of use that to kind of be the hub and the brains for our HomeKit ecosystem. Is it going to work? Again, we'll see. I'm not sure how much HomeKit is catching on, but...
Hey, at all most of the smart home stuff, HomeKit is kind of lagging behind right now. But I gotta say, I'm pretty sure Apple is gonna come out maybe the fall, maybe next year. We're gonna hear some Apple Home type of speaker, Alexa, Google Home speaker, because both Amazon and Google both tried to do your hub as your TV set, and Android TV was supposed to be that hub TV set, and never turned out to be. Amazon Fire TV was never that home TV set. It ended up being something completely separate, and I don't think everyone wants to make their TV their go-to hub for information. Maybe it's gonna be. I mean, maybe
Right.
there's some type of Apple device, whether it's a speaker or not. You know, Apple may come up with some good hardware. They're an excellent hardware company, so maybe it's a little keychain or something. You know, but it seems to be something more, like you said. Maybe I'll wait till the fall to pass judgment on that, because this would be a perfect opportunity for Apple to do some real innovation, or at least someone to do some real innovation. Now
Right.
that, you know, whether Apple makes it or one of their developers make it, you know, this could be huge.
For sure. For sure.
But I guess that's iOS in a nutshell. It was good iterative updates across the board. A lot of them resembled other platforms, and that's a good thing, because we're now moving into a system where everyone's kind of the same, which means someone is going to be forced eventually to do something groundbreaking. I guess a quick bonus for these viewers here: Swift Playground is now free, because Apple wants kids or teachers to teach kids how to code and develop for the future. What do you think about that?
I thought it was pretty cool. They had like a demo showing how it worked, and I thought it was a really cool interface. Very simple to use to kind of help kids. And I don't think it's just kids, but they're hoping that kids will be able to use it. But it's for anyone that wants to learn how to code, and a kind of simple touch-based interface on the iPad. You know, they showed how you could switch to gravity pretty quickly. And just different things about using the accelerometer and the gyroscope, the different things. And for me, I thought it was kind of cool. I would love to play with it and, you know, make my own, you know, apps on there, because it looked like a real easy way to learn it. And they have like different modules as well. So it's not like it's just a tool. They also have teaching modules in place to kind of step you through different concepts about coding, which I think is very cool for sure.
Yeah. Now here's something that I'm a little more intrigued to see if Swift is going to be the main programming language in the future, because it's weird that they would focus on one particular programming language. It makes sense that it's theirs,
Right.
but you look at the whole debacle with Oracle and Google, and, you know, Android using Java, and now that's been taken care of. And I know at one point Google was even looking at using Swift as a future programming language for Android in the future. Is Swift going to be that next Java, the next HTML? You know, we're getting, you know, full CS, full CC plus. I mean, this is replacing everything. Or do you feel like we're going to have multiple languages in the future, and they're all going to generally do the same thing?
Yeah, I can't imagine a point in the future where we get to actually one programming language. I mean, look how many we have right now. You know,
Right.
even it's just, you know, C# and C++, and, you know, Visual Basic is kind of a separate variant, and then, you know, .NET, and, you know, then we have Java, and you can do even things like scripting language like CSS, and then, you know, like HTML and different SQL variants. There's just a lot of different little pieces everywhere. And again, with Swift, I think it's cool. I like that they've done it. Again, I don't know the end game with this, as to why they did it, except that, again, it's supposed to work well within their ecosystem. It'd be nice to have fewer options for those of us that would like to, you know, get into coding more. But I feel like it's just going forward, still gonna have probably 2 or 3 main ones going forward. That's just how it has to be, especially with people still using legacy languages.
Yeah.
That some people just have been using something for 30 years and they're not trying to learn a new language. And so certain ones will hang around for that reason. Right. And some will hang around for that reason, and some will just, you know, it's just once something's stable and it works, people are loath to change it for sure.
I hope Swift becomes something big, and I hope other languages get to that same level, so at least we have, you know, something, at least some type of unified way of writing something, even whether we use different languages that deliver different end results. Hopefully this does break into the future where we have more younger people getting into IT and being able to make apps that are just much more richer and much more focused on real functionality and helping us out. We'll see. So I guess in closing, I mean, WWDC this year was an interesting snooze fest, like all software keynotes have been lately. Even Google I/O, as awesome as they have been lately, kind of fell off the mark. You know, with less hardware being announced these days, what was your overall thought on this WWDC and these software-based keynotes in general?
Yeah, I feel like we become saturated with the keynotes in general. I think our expectation is very high. I'll put it that way. We expect every time to just be blown away, like, oh my goodness, what just happened? I can't believe it. Let me tell all my friends. And that's just not the case as often anymore, because the innovation has kind of slowed down, especially in the software area, where, you know, when the iPhone first came out, it was like this touch interface, crazy, what's going on? The Android came out, and, you know, BlackBerry was trying some stuff, not really. But you know, and so, but I feel like now, you know, Mac OS, they changed the name, okay, add a few things, okay. It's difficult. On top of that, most of the presenters are kind of introverted IT people, most of them.
Yeah.
And so that adds to kind of the awkwardness. I will say, what's his name? Craig Federighi?
Yeah.
I feel like he has saved these keynotes in the last several times.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just boring, but comes in there. He's got his jokes, his little props, little funny things, and he's kind of makes it fun, makes it interesting. I think as long as they keep making it fun and interesting, and kind of knowing who to put out there, you know, I appreciate the diversity that we're seeing now, with different women, people of color, and different things. So if we can just get people that are interesting as well, and keep the humor up, at least we'll have fun hearing about these boring iterations on the software.
Yeah, speaking on like the presenter side, I did notice that some of them were actually tried and were actually pretty entertaining to me. But when the camera pans around the audience, I'm just looking at them. They're just like, no, just no.
Right.
And you know, we all know who we're talking about. You know, that's my sister over there, man. She was on that Apple Music.
Right.
And I thought that was hot. I thought that was so cool, man. I was like, yo, this is dope. And a lot of, you know, like you said, a lot of the IT people are introverted people in general, and they're not really super gonna be out there and just really over the top. And I feel like that would have been great for maybe a different like build. I know Microsoft people are a little bit more different, but I'm starting to see a lot more of these companies stick all their staff into the rooms and just make them just cheer and clap on on cue.
Now we clap.
Because I noticed if you look in the back of the pans, where the press was in the middle aisle, there wasn't much clapping, and there wasn't much. There was a lot of, you know, dry faces and a few. Oh, cool, that's kind of cool.
Right.
You know, but these hype men, man, you know, it's getting harder now.
The best part is when you see the presenter pause, and then there's a delay, and then the applause.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah.
Like really, you put that pause there, waiting for an applause that didn't happen. Then people begrudgingly, oh, it's awkward now. Let me help you. Let's give you something.
Exactly.
Save you. So sad.
So I mean, before we go ahead and go here, let's anything that you kind of wished you got today, or maybe something that you thought should have been announced and wasn't.
You know, I kind of thought they may have had some new, I guess, partnerships as far as Apple TV is concerned, because a lot of times they'll kind of highlight different companies when the software comes out. So we didn't see it this year as far as any new games really, or anything really to kind of make us excited about this software release. And I was kind of wishing for that. Usually someone will come out and kind of hype you up about, oh, this is gonna be cool because this company's involved, you know, EA Sports, or, you know, whoever it is that will come in and kind of show you something. Didn't do that this year. So I was hoping for that, didn't happen. So I wonder if that just means there's less buy-in, or it's just less to actually display functionality wise.
Without new hardware, right?
Right, without new hardware. So again, I guess this was a worldwide developer conference for software, so I can't be too upset no hardware was announced. So we'll see.
See, for me, I've got hurt for a couple things. I really thought this would have been the time to talk about their cross-platform possibilities with iMessage and FaceTime coming to Android. This would have been a smart move for Apple, you know, because that closed ecosystem is good and it's great for the people who buy it, but market share globally, it's really bad. And if you want to, make more money, you got to give it to everybody. Other things that I kind of missed, there wasn't any big tie-ins for the current hardware they have right now. Like, we talked about these photos, we talked about all these new features, and we talked about the messaging apps and stuff like that, but nothing really makes texting easier if the phone is still a certain size. I was expecting to see kind of more scalability things, maybe hinting at larger or smaller phones. They had just recently announced the iPhone SE this year, and a lot of these features for iOS they're really designed for the bigger phone. I don't know how much information you want to cram on that small of a screen nowadays, and I didn't really seem like they care too much about optimizing screen sizes and things like that for their different hardware than they currently have. So I thought they would at least mention something about resizing or scalability or DPI settings, something of the sort. I just thought that would have been something that we would have saw, or at least would have hoped we would have saw in there. And the fact that iOS is hitting number 10 in terms of software, I was expecting a major redesign,
right,
to the actual core functionality of how we interact with the apps. And they added an app drawer, oddly enough, into the messaging app.
Right.
But they didn't add it. I don't know if that's a hint for something or what, but
yeah,
he was like an app drawer, and everyone was like, oh, like when I first saw the lock screen, which we can be honest, it looks a lot like how Android lock screen is, with they raised it up so you can put more content in the middle. I really thought the next step was going to be an app drawer, and I think that iOS needs an app drawer right now. They need something on the home screen front that just pops. I'm different now. I'm more mature as an OS.
Right.
Something. I just really thought they were going to do something more drastic with the iPhone or the iOS software in general.
Yeah, it's funny because as you were talking, I was reminded, generally they usually mention some performance improvements that come with the new operating system.
Yeah.
And that only happened this year for the watchOS. Everything else, there was no mention of, now you can open apps, 20% faster on the Mac. Those kind of things they usually kind of say, which, again, it still sounds like fluff, but we usually hear it still.
Yeah, or battery life improvements or anything
right,
like
or
that.
On the phone you can switch through apps, 2 times faster, or they open up 0.5 times quicker. Usually something about speed, and we didn't hear that this time. So I wonder if we've hit a wall somewhere, or if they just, again, waiting for the hardware still. But usually there's something software-wise that helps to optimize the current hardware. As you mentioned, we didn't really hear any of that. There's a few new features, but as far as getting to, I guess the core functionality and the horsepower, the speed, the lifting, I guess, of the hardware, we didn't hear any of that. So
I'm a little concerned about what the customizability, what that means for the platform in general. Like, are we opening up iOS to be open source eventually? I mean, it sounds funny, right? But
doubtful.
Funny and doubtful. But this is probably the most customizable version of iOS we've ever seen, and they've been leaning more and more on the customizable side, which is why I thought they were going to do the app drawer. But maybe are we going to be seeing change of grid icon? Maybe we're going to change the way icons look or something like that. Maybe in the close near future.
Yeah, some skins or something,
some
right?
Skins, skin version of Android. Maybe a dark theme across the entire OS.
Right.
It's something, man.
We'll see. Yeah. For sure.
So I guess that's it, man. I guess you guys can find both of us at chotechstudios.com, YouTube, of course, at youtube.com/chotechstudio, Twitter /chotechstudio, Facebook /chotechstudio, and many more platforms to come. Christian, where can anyone find you personally if they want to follow your stuff?
If you want to find me, I'm on Facebook, MooreC83, my last name Moore, letter C, 83. On Twitter, I think I'm the Seymour, the letter C, Moore. If you want a game, I'm on Battle.net, Quicksilver, $12.99. Hit me up on there in the Hearthstone. I'm on there quite a bit, so I'm working my way to Legends, slowly but surely. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, if you're on Steam, Quicksilver X83.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Jovon49. You guys can find me. That's about it. Oh, Google Plus. Find me on Google Plus, googleplus.com / plus Jovon LeBlanc, and gaming. I'm Jovon52 #1411, and you can see me on Steam as Ninja on a Horse. We game. Check us out, guys. We stream on Twitch. We'll be streaming about 4 times a week, and we have a big Chill Tech group gathering on Saturdays nights, and we play together. And we open it up to you guys. If you guys want to play with us, stream online, hang out, have a good time with us. You're more than welcome to do so. Don't forget, guys, to check out our podcast every week. We have a Chill Tech podcast every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock to 8:30, but mostly 8 o'clock. And hashtag us at The Real CTS Podcast, and we'll answer all your questions on Twitter. So anything you want to ask us at all, we will ask it, no matter how vulgar or stupid or smart or intelligent, wherever it is, ask us. We got you. Most likely. And of course, guys, we appreciate you guys for watching. And until next time, see y'all again. Keep it chill.
All right. Later.